To me, this is the game of the year. And I understand how pathetic that sounds because this is a 2-win football team against another 2-win football team.
It's our Super Bowl.
This is the game of the year. It really is. Like, we are starved to find a franchise quarterback. And if Shedeur Sanders could even show us promise or hope, we will be latched onto that tomorrow morning like you could not believe. Like, if Shedeur Sanders could even put together a pedestrian stat line, that's better than what Dylan Gabriel's doing. Could you beat mediocrity? That's the level for Shedeur Sanders going into this game today, and that's why the fan base should be excited, man. Because right now you've got a defense that is quite literally Super Bowl caliber, and you have an offense that is quite literally 0-17 caliber. And that's why you have 2 wins right now. Like, your need for a franchise quarterback is as glaring now as it's ever been. And we've lived through some dark ages of Browns football where they could not get quarterback right. So if Shedeur could even give us promise going into next week that this could be a player that could be what we're searching for, that'd be a really good thing because I got Myles Garrett right now just on an absolute generational tear. I got Carson Schwarzenegger is going to win the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and none of that matters because the football team has 2 wins. Whereas if you could find a quarterback in the 5th round of the NFL, oh man, buckle up because people will be ready to throw those Brock Purdy comps out. People will be ready to start looking at the mock drafts with an offensive tackle and a wide receiver, knowing that Shedeur could be your guy in 2026. Like, today is a huge day for the Cleveland Browns, and fans have the right to be excited. Like, don't let people take that excitement from you leading up to this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there trying to do it, right? There's a lot of people telling you, hey, it's a 5th round pick. Why are we reacting this way?
Right.
Albert Breer was on the station earlier this week, and I mean, had some back and forth with Nick and Jonathan, but was just, kind of trying to poke holes in the idea of like, hey, guys, we're so excited for this guy. Went 4 for 16. He's a 5th round pick. We don't talk about 5th round picks this way. And it's like, everybody watched the tape. They see it's an opportunity for a franchise quarterback. It is a guy we've identified as a high ceiling. It is a guy that a large part of our fan base is an entire outside national non-Browns fan base is very excited about. We can sit here and have an excitement level for Shedeur Sanders because, again, it does have the opportunity to change everything that you're looking forward to, going forward in this season and next season. Like, this can, in a way, transform the offense.
It really could. And let's be real about this, too. This is not your typical 5th round pick. Now, he was drafted in the 5th round. Yes, that's true. And you can't debate that. Whatever happened in the pre-draft meetings or whatever happened that caused him to fall to the number 144 overall selection, it did. It happened. Whatever. And we move forward. But the fact of the matter is this is a guy that a lot of people, locally and nationally, believed had a ton of promise, had a huge arm, was laser pinpoint accurate, and ultimately had the mental makeup that was required to be a franchise quarterback in this league because of the legendary status and because he has the swag and the personality and what's required to be able to overcome an environment like Cleveland where we are always looking towards the draft. We are always looking to the backup quarterback. Like, this is a guy that's a little bit different than your typical 5th round pick. And whatever happened that caused him to fall to the 5th round, that's in the past now. I'm looking forward to see if Shedeur could lean into some of those positive pre-draft traits that had people believing that he could be a top 10 NFL draft pick, like literally in the beginning of the month of April.
Yeah, and I mean, guys, realistically, take a look. Like, everybody can cherry pick whatever they want. You can cherry pick me 1,000 quarterbacks that went in the 5th round or later that are just absolutely nothing burgers and went out there and failed. I can also cherry pick for you Dak Prescott in the 4th round, Brock Purdy in the 7th round. Like, you do find quarterbacks, and it doesn't really matter where they're drafted. You turn franchise quarterbacks or very high level quarterbacks out of late round picks sometimes. I will say with this game, I'm not putting it to the Dylan Gabriel level Jets, where I say if you don't look good in this game, you're never going to look good. But there should be a level of comfort for Shedeur Sanders today that you're not going to find it against many other defenses. You're in a dome. You should have time to, be rather protected. You imagine the Browns have to show up today. You should be able to throw the ball. You should have the time to do it. The elements are going to be there. The defense on the other side is going to be there. Like, today is a day that you have an opportunity to look good with first-team reps. There's also not many excuses. There's also an extra level of excitement here. Obviously, we talked about the fact it's just exciting because Shedeur's starting. We're excited about that. The offense might look better. and the idea that you could find your quarterback. Obviously, it's exciting because it's winnable. The other part of this is Browns quarterbacks since 1999 to make their debut, their very first start in the NFL as a Cleveland Brown. You know the record for him, Nick? You got that one on tap?
Give it to me.
0-17.
Oof.
0-17 since 1999. Have not ever won their debut game. Shedeur's got an opportunity to change that. Like, again, should that add a ton of extra excitement for people? Probably not. Like, it's just a game. It's just their first start. But at least it's something. Like, hey, you push forward a guy that can get his first start. I think it just all matters when it's Shedeur and you have this opportunity just to, look in the rear view and just feel like you could have the guy and really kind of focus on the now rather than the look forward to April 6 months in advance and be like, that NFL draft could be exciting, could flip this team around. And by the way, we still have 7 more weeks of football.
The thing about this week, and I think Kevin Stefanski handled this the way that I expected him to, and that the way that ultimately he had to, right, was he was very non-committal about what can Shedeur Sanders do to make sure that we never see Dillon Gabriel again. Like, if I'm Shedeur, that's the number one list item on my agenda for today, is do enough that they never go back to Dillon Gabriel. Because if Dillon Gabriel can clear this concussion protocol,
which we saw,
Kevin Stefanski said that he's getting better and he returned to practice late last week. So if Shedeur has a colossal meltdown in this game, they're gonna go back to Dillon Gabriel, because all the reports this week were Kevin Stefanski behind the scenes right after the draft, during rookie minicamp, during the preseason, he was privately telling offensive coaches this is going to be a redshirt year for Shedeur Sanders. So this is a guy that they didn't want on the football field anyhow. So anything less than what Gabriel's given them, they're going to just go right back to Dillon Gabriel because he's the supercomputer and all of this. If I'm Shedeur Sanders, okay, I'm leaving the supercomputer unplugged. I'm never letting them go back to that guy. And the bar has never been lower than that. Like, just get a win and break this 0-for-17 curse of Browns quarterbacks making their starting debut, finding a way to get a victory, but at the same time, put together a stat line that can enlist any hope against a bad Raiders defense that you can be a solution moving forward. And even though they seemingly have this love affair with Dillon Gabriel, let's call this for what it is. They've got 2 wins right now. Everybody should be feeling the pressure right now. So as much as they might love Dillon Gabriel, have this affinity for Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur has an opportunity to make sure that that guy never goes back on the field ever again. And that's really what we should all be hoping for, because the last couple of weeks of Browns football has been beyond boring with Dillon Gabriel at the helm.
Yeah, and I mean, you haven't felt like it's made a tremendous difference. And
no.
Hey, realistically, if Dillon got back on the field, continued to play at or even near the level that he was playing, you're drafting a quarterback in 2026. Like, it's a guarantee. There's nothing else to it. There should be, again, an excitement for Shedeur. But, yeah, I mean, Nick, I don't know how you go out there, and I don't even care really about the stat line. Like, I'm not going to be box score watching in this game. I think a lot of what we're going to learn about Shedeur is going to be through the eye test.
Yeah.
Like, are there going to be plays where you make mistakes? I think absolutely. He is going to be far from a perfect quarterback in this game. Is he going to throw an interception? There's certainly a chance. Is he going to take a sack that's probably 10 plus yards, trying to make something happen in the backfield? I think there's certainly a chance he does it. But it's not about the fact of, can you walk into this start and completely eliminate those things? Those are habits that are hard to break. We know that because we can watch Josh Allen on Thursday Night Football this week, running around in the backfield, trying to make something happen, a play that he should have thrown it away at 9 different points, and just decided to keep making it going. It's like, that's a bad habit that Josh Allen had at Wyoming and previously that he's done pretty good to break in the NFL, but it's never completely gone. So it's like, yeah, you're not going to break those things off of 1 week of practice. That's not going to happen. But you just have to go out there and you have to, I think, more often show the just little glimpses of, oh, this looks like a guy that can be a starter in the NFL for a while. And again, I think picking up that win is pivotal.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned like not box score watching or not stat sheet watching. Like, for every 10-yard sack that you take, can you at least give me 3 passes that maybe go, I want to see more of that? Like, Ross Tucker was on Afternoon Drive earlier this week, and he described this situation perfectly. Like, today is a massive win for Shedeur Sanders if they escape Vegas with a victory. But if he can leave everybody saying, I want to see more of that. Like, that's massive for Shedeur. And I think a big piece of that is, like, this is your first start. You were a 5th-round pick. You do have some bad habits. Like, even the craziest of Shedeur Sanders fans, I think, can at least embrace and accept that fact. So can you have positives outweigh the negative? Like, it is that simple for Shedeur today.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to the idea that, like, you do just have to outplay Dylan Gabriel. I also hear a lot of people. It's such a low bar,
dude.
It really is
such a low bar.
But, like, Nick, I think you're in the same camp as me. If I watch Shedeur go out and the Browns win this game, and again, I don't care what the box score looks like. If he leaves you wanting more, or in any way the Browns win, I don't even want to say because of him, but they just win with him and not in spite of him, I'm going to be looking around. And if Kevin Stefanski comes after the game or a Monday and goes, well, if Dylan clears the protocol this week, he's going to be our starter, I'm going to go ballistic. Yeah. I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you have a quarterback that's earning you a win, which if Dylan would have beat the Jets and Shedeur wins this game and then you would have went back to Dylan, I would have had a lot less to throw at you. But the fact that you lost the game to the Jets and Shedeur could beat the Raiders is telling me that I can't argue that I have a better chance to win with Dylan Gabriel than I do Shedeur. And not that game's on Dylan, but he didn't do enough to overcome one of the worst defenses in the league. So it's like, if I get a win and it's not in spite of Shedeur, you can't go back. But I also hate the narrative that this is a make or break game for Shedeur Sanders. Time is a Brown and a make or break game, possibly for Shedeur Sanders' career. Like, first take, Stephen A. and Ryan Clark both went in completely opposite directions, by the way, talking about how this is a make or break game. Stephen A's like, you can't come out and throw for 25 yards if you're Shedeur Sanders, or 25% of your passes be completed if you're Shedeur Sanders, and think this isn't a make or break. It's like, yeah, no duh. Right? Like, if you go out and you complete 25% of your passes, your ass is going to find the bench.
Right.
Like, that's just the reality of the situation. And Ryan Clark's talking about if he can seize the opportunity in front of him, which you have a great opportunity, you have to come to play. But if he can go out there and look really good, then, his time as a Brown is extended. It's like, again, also no duh. Like, the most likely outcome is that either, the results. If the Browns win and Shedeur plays well, Shedeur should absolutely 100% be the starter. If the Browns lose and Shedeur plays like garbage, he's going to go back to the bench. Like, everybody can look around and accept that. Even if we don't like it, it's like, yeah, I know where they're coming from. Like, what argument are you going to make?
Yeah, pretty simple.
Most likely thing to happen is either the Browns lose and Shedeur leaves people wanting more, or the Browns win and Shedeur's like, it's up in the air.
There's
good moments and there's bad moments.
There's a ton of gray area, which makes me wonder, I wonder, regardless, if Kevin Stefanski has in his mind, when he goes to that post-game press conference, if he just punts the decision to tomorrow or punts the decision to Wednesday even.
Probably the right move, Kevin.
Because I do see a world where there's a ton of gray area, because I do expect a little bit of a mixed bag today from Shedeur Sanders, if we're being honest. I do expect there to be some head-scratching moments where it's, why did you do that? Why did you take that 10-yard sack? But then at the same time, I do expect him to throw a touchdown pass that makes me say, wow, I've never seen Dylan Gabriel throw a touchdown pass like that. And I've got these numbers. And again, I know we're not going to get lost in the stat sheet and lost in the box score for Dylan Gabriel, but I just want to explain to people how bad he's been. The one thing, Jake, that he has in his back pocket is that win against the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. Browns won that game 31-6. Dylan Gabriel in that game completed 72% of his passes for 116 yards, no touchdowns and no picks. So it's you were virtually a non-factor in that victory, despite the final score being 31-6. Shedeur has the most beautiful, picturesque opportunity in front of him today, because the guy that they have on the depth chart in front of him is quite literally doing nothing in every single game that he goes out there. He's completely overmatched in every single game that he goes out there. Even the wins, he's doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do to basically outplay Dylan Gabriel in this game is be impactful.
Yeah.
Right? And I will say, we obviously rip on Dylan Gabriel. I don't look at Dylan and I don't see him as a franchise quarterback. I don't see him as a starter in this league based on what we've seen this year. And it's been hard to evaluate with the talent around him. But, I don't see a lot that just screams starter. If he was going to be one, it would have to be in the Brock Purdy 49ers type manner with a ton of star power around you.
Because even the thing is like, when I watch Dylan Gabriel play, like, there's not even ever been a moment where I'm like, wow, that's a flash. Like, the rest of this is really bad, but wow, that one throw, like, has me out of it. Like, there's just been none of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been moments where I'm like, oh, it's a pretty good throw, but it's like, it's on the money, but it's not like I'm, like, overly impressed.
Right.
But that's kind of the quarterback that Dylan is, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Like, again, I think it's the type of quarterback that you look at as a backup, and sometimes is one of those, like, spot starters in the league. Sometimes, maybe Dylan will go down the line in the NFL and be a guy that teams roll out with as, like, a bridge quarterback or a 1 year rental quarterback, thinking maybe they can get something more out of him with talent around him. But it's like, you don't lose games because of Dylan. You haven't won games because of Dylan. Like, he hasn't been the reason you've lost. Like, I mean, individually himself, he hasn't played well enough that you're winning games. But for the most part, like, it's just been that the offense can't move. It hasn't necessarily been like, Dylan's putting you in such a bad spot. I mean, he's got 7 touchdowns and 2 picks, right? Like, that's a good stat line to a lot of people. And I think across the NFL, like, that's a pretty decent stat line. But again, it's the underlying things. He's completing less than 60% of his passes.
They're mostly checkdowns anyway.
Right. Like, there's all of this. Shedeur just has to go out there and find a way to be impactful and make it look like he contributed to a Browns win and not just existed during a Browns win. And that instantly already wipes Dylan off the table.
Yeah.
Like, even if you just exist in a Browns win today, it still makes it really hard to go back to Dylan. But if you're impactful, like, it makes all the difference. And it's where I understand the make or break stuff that people want to go to. Like, yes, Dylan has a chance to basically box out and shut down the Dylan Gabriel conversation today, or at least what should be that conversation. We'll see what Kevin actually has to say about it. But I also don't know that you don't get to the back end of this year and Shedeur makes another start or 2 or 3 starts or whatever it is. Like, how many more weeks are you really going to turn things over to Dylan Gabriel? I don't know that you can just do it for the entire season. I think you'd probably want to, and if it's not Kevin, I'd imagine Jimmy and Andrew probably want to see Shedeur play at some point just a little bit more to actually see it. Like, it feels sort of make or break. Like, I get where people are going. I just don't think that's probably the full route I would go down.